International news now. The results of the European parliamentary elections have revealed some unexpected outcomes. Voters across 28 countries delivered the highest turnout in 20 years. In the UK, the Brexit Party took home nearly 32% of the vote. It's almost equivalent to the vote share of both Labour and the Liberal Democrats combined, and reflects growing dissatisfaction with traditional UK parties. The head of Sudan's military council has been shoring up support with regional leaders. General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan met with and received pledges of support from the Crown Prince of the United Arab Emirates and from Egypt's president. At the same time, Sudanese opposition groups are calling for a two-day strike starting from tomorrow. They're warning against interference in the country's transition and want the military to hand over power to civilian rule. US President Donald Trump is the first foreign leader to have met with Japan's new emperor. Trump and his wife attended a gala state dinner hosted by Emperor Naruhito, and his wife Naruhito ascended the throne earlier this month after his father's abdication. Trump is on a four-day state visit to the country. He's already met with the Prime Minister Shinzo Abe to discuss trade and relations with North Korea. Now, we've been celebrating the extraordinary summiting of Mount Everest by Suraya Khumalo, the first black African woman to do so. Everest is a symbol of conquering against all odds and one of the toughest challenges known to man and woman, a massive tourist pull and financial asset for the Himalayan country. Now, while all eyes were on the mountain, a devastating coordinated bomb attack on the capital. 4 people dead and 7 injured in Kathmandu. Police suspect a little-known Maoist splinter group. This is the first attack since the end of the long civil war in 2006. And joining me from Kathmandu is journalist Tsireng Dolka. Tsireng, good to have you with us. Tell us more about what happened and why.
Okay, so there were a series of explosions that took place in Kathmandu, the capital city, yesterday, where at least 4 people were killed and 7 others injured. The group believed to be responsible for the attacks is a Maoist faction led by Biplav, whose real name is Netra Bikram Chand. He is one of those Maoist leaders who broke away from the main party in 2006 after the Maoist body decided to sign the peace agreement. This is not the first time that the group has organized such an attack in the city. Just 2 months earlier, there was a similar explosion that took place in the southern part of Kathmandu, killing 1 civilian.
Now, I was in Nepal for the elections in 2008, and I interviewed the head of the Maoists at that time, Prachanda, and he really was talking about how much change had happened and how much he'd been able to bring in all the Maoist groups and the sentiments and their concerns. What do you think went wrong? Why have we seen these splinters happening?
I think because a lot of people feel like the revolution didn't achieve what it set to. Particularly talking about this group that is believed to be responsible for the attacks, they feel let down by the Maoist party leaders, especially Prachanda, who they say betrayed their ideals and joined the power. Joined forces with people who they sought to fight against.
What sort of impact do you think it's going to have on tourism? I know that really keeps the country afloat. You've got so many people going up Mount Everest, and Kathmandu is a tourist site too.
I think it's too early to sort of estimate what kind of impact it will have in tourism, but there's already a growing sense of concern and fear among the general population itself of how the security situation in the country has been degrading, and many people have criticized the government for the way it's handled the incidents and for not being proactive enough and for not doing more to bring these groups under control.
Now, I believe some people have been arrested, numbers at about 12. I'm just wondering what the sort of security response is likely to be, and how concerned would your neighbours be that there is this deterioration in security there?
So after yesterday's incidents, the Home Ministry called an emergency meeting of all three security agencies, namely Nepal Police, the Armed Police Force, and the National Investigations Department. But while I would say that people do not really feel confident in the government because the group that is responsible for the recent attacks was outlawed a few months ago, but they haven't been able to arrest any senior leaders of the party. So people, I've been reading a lot of tweets, Facebook posts on social media from common Nepalis who are expressing their dissatisfaction.
And imagine, obviously, how frightened people are when this happens, really. In the heart of a city, the soft targets there. Tereng Dolka, thank you very much for talking to us from Kathmandu.